an NFC East battle right off the bat. It's The Coach. This is Week 1 of the NFL on EA Sports. Coming up, an important season is about to begin for Eli Manning. His Giants get a tough test right out of the gate as they take on the defending NFC East champs, the Dallas Cowboys. I'll be back at halftime with a look around the early games. Let's get you over to Big D. Here are Brandon Gaudin and Charles Davis.
We are sandwiched between Fort Worth and Dallas, Texas, and Arlington at the luxurious AT&T Stadium. Obviously, they do everything big here in Dallas, and the introduction to the Cowboys, no exception. They're set for football in Big D as their guys will do battle with Eli Manning and the New York Giants. So happy to be with you, Brandon Gaudin and Charles Davis, and we thought it would never get here, but here we are back together. It's opening weekend of the 100th season in the NFL.
So much football to talk about. That's our main focus. But how about how much happened in the offseason? Rules changes. Overtime rules were discussed in a big way. Some superstars changed addresses. There's a whole lot to talk about in the NFL in addition to this game we're getting ready to watch.
Ready to get things rocking, the Pro Bowl kicker from the NFC last year, Aldrick Rosas. And we are underway from AT&T Stadium. And all that worked, but he stopped where he ultimately would have been, and he's simply taken a knee, and that's the 25-yard line. The Cowboys take over with their fourth-year quarterback, Dak Prescott, at the helm. The passing yards a career high last year, close to 3,900, but protection was a problem for Dak Prescott. His 56 sacks taken were one fewer than his previous 2 years combined. On 1st and 10, Prescott. Is this intercepted? It is. It's intercepted. Picked up by the Michigan man, Jabril Peppers. Cooper was the target there. I'm not sure exactly what they had planned for play number 1 from scrimmage, but I can guarantee it wasn't that interception.
No doubt about that one, because in their daydream, this was going to be a dream play to get things started. Instead, it turned into a nightmare for them.
Tyrone Crawford in on the tackle.
They tried a quick hitter inside, but that one was swallowed up because what they're hoping, those big defensive linemen will take the bait and move laterally and open up a crease that they can run through. Didn't happen on that play.
Throwing there, but this pass is going to wind up incomplete. The turnover put them in great field position. They don't want to squander it with 3rd down coming up.
No, not at all. And you know what else you do? You make your defense mad.
Yeah.
They got you the football, gave you a great opportunity. You got to cash in and get some points. One hallmark of good defenses is understanding the game, understanding positioning, and tackling immediately in the secondary after catches. I think we just saw that on display right there.
Got to him before he ever had a chance to think about turning it upfield.
We play to win. Let's go.
Here's the Dallas offense now heading back out onto the field. And they've got to be thrilled to have this game still at 0-0 after the interception thrown on the very first play of the game.
They certainly do. And what I enjoyed was watching him on the sidelines, because as the defense came off, he was there to congratulate them and really say thanks, because he threw the interception. It didn't turn into any points.
The offensive starters now for the Cowboys.
It's so good to see big number 72, Travis Frederick, back in a Cowboys uniform. Remember, he missed all of last season with Guillain-Barré syndrome. And prior to that, he'd been to the Pro Bowl 4 straight times at center. And his return, a huge boost to the offensive line. Better to have him in uniform than coaching.
You got it. You got it.
And they'll bring him down here right around the 17-yard line.
In today's football, the receivers break tackles, make people miss, get upfield for the extra yardage. When you see a play like that where it's caught and he's dropped on the spot, that's a big-time play by the defense.
17 yards on the play there, and the Cowboys have a first down.
And there we see an early burst that makes him one of the leading rushers in the league.
I want you to know, I listened to you yesterday when we were watching film. You said write down the word vision for him. It was on display there, wasn't it?
It certainly was, because he allows the blocks to set up in front of him. And if that continues, it's going to be a long afternoon for those guys trying to play some defense.
Officially nothing on that last run. They'll try again, 2nd and 10. The give is to Elliott. And the second wave of tacklers is going to get him as they stop him behind the line. It's a loss of 4. Now 3rd down.
Anytime you call an inside running play, you just know there should be a lot of congestion there. You're counting on your offensive line to take control of the line of scrimmage. That didn't happen in this case, and that play got bottled up.
Give him 6 on the play, and that's going to make it 4th down.
I know most of the time when the ball's in the air, you're thinking wide receiver or tight end, but running backs, they can be a big part of any passing offense nowadays.
And this is going to hit the goal line and continue on into the end zone for a touchback. And New York set to take the field. And they'll certainly be trying to do better than that first drive where they went 3 and out.
And sometimes the first drive is just simply to settle nerves. You know what it's like at the start of a game with the emotion. Guys a little bit jumpy.
But you do.
Oh, you understand the same way. It's just like us calling one, right? Making sure we ease into the game, let it come to us.
Well, you went
and
3
now
and
they
out.
have that opportunity.
No, you didn't go 3 and out. I went 3 and out on that first drive. I'll try to do better here. Now a fake on the give here as they try the run-pass option. He's tackled a yard short of the marker. Good gain of 9 on first down.
Nothing fancy on first down, but a very consistent type of a play. Hit that slant. A lot of people call it an extension of the running game, and it can be if that pass is completed, because you hit a guy on the run like that, he often can go for big yardage.
Sets him up nicely for 2nd down, staying ahead of schedule. So here's a 1st and 10 at the 38. Barkley. And he's going to get hit at the line of scrimmage and driven backwards. Officially no gain on the play, and it's 2nd down.
Doubling this guy has to be a priority before moving up to the next level, because the big fella, he just ate that one alive, just stuffed it. In fact,
rush coming, and he's taken down. Sean Lee, the longtime vet, getting in and getting to the QB.
Enough to start to have a good drive, quite like a big loss on a sack, does it?
Now they're looking at a 3rd and long, and suddenly the momentum shifted to the other side of the football.
And old Mo is a very, very fickle man.
Now throwing on 3rd down there, but he cannot connect.
The touch and time are critical for those types of throws. He put a lot of zip on that one. Needed just a little bit more finesse trying to get it to his back.
Dixon, the punter, is on as he sends it away.
That's it, baby. We go.
The offense for the Cowboys now working their way back onto the field. And they will begin with, should we call it, far from ideal starting field position, their own 2-yard line.
So what's your definition of ideal?
The 1-yard line on the other side of the field.
Yes, exactly right. So, yes, your definition is apropos in this case.
Alec Ogletree in on the stop.
One thing to keep in mind, partner, especially in the second half, when you've got a running back of this size, of these dimensions, I can just tell you, attrition does set in for a defense, because you're excited about hitting him in the first half. Maybe not so much in the second half, and some of these shorter gains turn into bigger runs later. How best to describe that one? I'd say right down Broadway on that run.
A straight-ahead running. I think that might be something we see a lot of between the tackles today.
Well, he's enjoying things so far here this afternoon. Sees a crease and bursts through it for a solid game.
Offense.
Come on, baby, let's go. Get excited. Let's go.
Still first down.
I'm coming. I'm coming. I'm coming.
Off play action to Elliott. Here's Prescott. Letting one fly deep for Cooper. And incomplete there, almost picked off. That's one you maybe expect your roaming free safety to come up with. But it's second down. So they'll come up after the incompletion for second down. That's on the Pro Bowl guard from Notre Dame, Zach Martin. And that false start penalty is certainly not helping their cause here. Second down and long. Now Prescott. Wide open, Amari Cooper. That'll be a gain of 15 yards. And just like that, it's third down.
One thing I can say pretty safely, that route is not called if you don't have a guy who can throw the ball and put some mustard on it. Because if you're going to lollipop it in the middle of the field, bad things usually happen. It takes a strong-armed guy who can rifle it in there, and they were able to successfully complete that one.
Now the throw on third down, knocked away and incomplete.
Certainly looked like they were getting ready to convert there on third down, but what an effort to get his hand on that one, knock it away, and brings up a fourth down decision.
And that one hits a little too close to the goal line, and it continues into the end zone for a touchback. And here comes the Giants offense back out onto the field. They've had it twice. They've punted twice. Not the start they were hoping for.
Not at all, and let's face it, every facility we visit, everyone talks about converting on third down, how big that is. In this situation, they've had to punt it away twice, so they're furiously going over things on the sidelines. What do we need to do to pick up a first down and change our momentum?
On second and 9, Manning. They'll set up the screen to Barkley. And he'll get this up to the 34-yard line. A gain of 13. It's a first down.
They ran that one well, and not only did they pick up a nice chunk of yardage on the screen, they sent a message to the defense. Rush the passer all you want, but you better be careful. We can hit you going back the other direction.
From the 34 now, here's first and 10. Throwing now is Manning. He goes full extension, and he's got it. That throw good for 4. It's second down.
I know at retirement ceremonies, a rocking chair is often one of the major gifts, but don't give this guy one just yet. He may be plus 30, but my goodness, how about that effort?
Yeah, he's not that old. Hey, I'm on the wrong side of 32.
You okay? You feeling all right?
I'll be all right.
Okay,
I
good.
just need some chocolate and a box of tissues. Now Manning. Hard throw, incomplete. Problems on third down so far in this first half. Relatively small sample size, but they're now 0 for 3.
And the average in the league, somewhere around 40% on third down for offenses. So what's the answer to this? Either convert them or don't get to third down in the first place. Get your big chunks of yards on first and second down.
A reminder, coming up later tonight, the Patriots unfurl their 6 banners. They play host to their rival Steelers. And then on Monday night, it's the one weekend of the year where you get 2 games to wrap up the week. The Texans and Saints from New Orleans in the early game, then Broncos and Raiders. Vic Fangio's coaching debut, and the Raiders' final season opener in Oakland. That's the late game, 10:30 Eastern.
Never make the mistake that the slot receivers, especially the little guys like we're watching here, are just quicker than fast. A lot of them combine quickness and speed, and they catch a lot of footballs, as we just saw there.
An excellent pickup of 20 yards.
I think it all came together there. In-breaking route, drove it with excellent pace. Money throw right there to move the sticks.
And he's got room. Now he's going to get this all the way down inside the 35. 20 yards on both of those plays back-to-back there. They are moving now. It's another first down.
Yeah, they really needed to get something going, didn't they? They had punted on the last 2 possessions. The running game starting to come to the front for them, providing a nice pickup there to keep this drive going.
Just a yard on the first down carry, so it's second and 9. And this is a guy straight out of college. They're not going to try to groom for a year or 2. They want him to produce right away.
That's why they took him in the first round. They expect him to be a starter right away and a future All-Pro. So they don't have any time to wait for him to come along. They want him to play right now to help this team.
They added a lot of talent to a roster that really needed an infusion of youth. They got a very good infusion of youth.
And they didn't really reach to get anyone as well. They stuck to their draft philosophy, got the best players they could at the time.
Nowhere to turn this time, and he goes down. Sacked back at the 29. They've been moving the ball well offensively, really getting into a groove. Last play, pass completion. Now, finally, the defense gets there.
And you have to find a way to disrupt their rhythm. Do you do it with coverage, or do you do it with pressure? They elected to go with pressure, and it was the right call.
The Cowboys on third down. Just 1 for 3 thus far. This is going to be 3rd and 13. Throwing. Prescott. He's got his target. It's Cobb. And he will reach the 8-yard line before going out. They're able to convert on third down, and that sets up a 1st and goal.
All that practice time came to fruition on that play. All those timing routes that they worked on through training camp, OTAs, minicamp.
In trouble, and he'll go down back at the 12.
Well, there's still time to rectify this situation because the silver lining, they took a sack on 1st and goal. But that close to the goal line, that still definitely hurts.
That's complete right around the 8. And able to break 1 tackle, but then quickly brought down. But a nice little gain. That catch good for 8, but still, it's 3rd and goal now.
Let's not quibble about the gain there on 2nd down. That was a positive play because that was a take.
And he will take it in for a Cowboy score. 5 yards on the touchdown run. And the Cowboys are in for 6.
Well, they decided to run it in and got it done on 3rd and goal. A lot of times, that's a passing play.
And the kicker, this has to come out for the PAT. He can breathe a sigh of relief as well, right?
Although I don't know if he's really breathing a sigh of relief. I think he likes to put 3 points on his ledger.
A pretty long drive that time. 11 plays all told. And it culminates in a touchdown run by Ezekiel Elliott. This one fielded at the 5. And he'll get it up past the 20 to the 22-yard line. The offense takes the field, and we turn our attention to Saquon Barkley. He's been good. They've utilized him well, but they're losing here in the 2nd quarter. What might they change offensively?
I think that what you try and do is expand how you get the ball to him a little bit. Get him out in open space, maybe swing the ball to him. What's that they used to call it in the West Coast offense, the long handoff. Serve as your running play that way, as well as continue to feed him the football.
And the Cowboys pressure gets there this time for the sack. The tank, DeMarcus Lawrence with a sack.
Well, that's the 2nd time he's been sacked so far in the 1st half, and if they have designs on having a big year, on going anywhere, they've got to find a way to keep him upright so they can throw the football.
To try again after the sack. Manning. Now he'll dump it underneath to his running back. Complete. And with his size coming out of the backfield, usually takes more than an arm tackle to get him down. That's why they like to get him involved in the passing game.
No doubt about it. You saw him running that angle route there and catching the ball. And with his size, not often thought to have hands, but we're hearing that more and more. Guys are doing a better job of catching the ball at any size coming out of the backfield because they need to be a full part of the offense.
Faking the give to Barkley. Now Manning. Oh, did he hang on to it? He did on the dive. Nice grab. 11 yards there, just like last play. They go play action here on 1st down.
Well, partner, when you ask anyone other than your QB to throw the ball, you must have a lot of confidence or you think you're really going to fake them out, and it looks like they did exactly that.
Yeah, going deep in the playbook and a great grab on the other end.
I tell you, Brandon, this defense is playing with some confidence. Haven't allowed a point yet. Flying.
And he's going to be sacked. They sack him back right at the midfield stripe. The Giants going to go ahead and use the first of their timeouts as they'll talk it over here before what will be an important 3rd down. From the gun, it's Manning. And almost picked off. I guess the good news for them now, it's 4th down.
Well, he'd been targeted quite a bit on this drive, and finally I think the guys on the defensive side, they said no more. They slapped the double coverage on him, made it very tough for him to get the ball.
And the punt team on now as this one's sent away. And this one will wind up being down just outside of that 20-yard line. A 1st down throw for Prescott. That one complete to Elliott. Call it a gain of 5, and it'll bring up a second down. Now the Cowboys going to burn the first of their timeouts as they'll stop it with just over a minute to go before halftime. And on the left side, he's got Witten. The Cowboys going to use their second timeout now, as the stoppage will come with a little under a minute to go in this first half. The Cowboys on third down. They've converted 3 out of 5 thus far. Here it's 3rd and 3. Prescott to throw it. And he's able to hook up with Michael Gallup. And he'll be tackled right on the chalk of the 45. It's a gain of 16 and the Dallas first down. Prescott on first down. He's going to go for a big play downfield. It's caught inside the 25. Touchdown, Cowboys. Amari Cooper, 55 yards. And the Cowboys will add on to their lead. And that'll give them a 2-score lead here, but I'm looking ahead. They just want to hold it for the final moments here of the second quarter. They don't want to give up anything on the other side.
No, not at all, because if they don't, it almost had the feel of an imposing their will score. And right now, they want to make sure they keep that and carry it into the second half.
Let's go, boys. Let's go.
New York set to take the field. These guys had to punt their last possession, and that's become too familiar of a refrain. Too many of these drives just wound up going nowhere.
But you know how in baseball, when the pitcher gets a base hit and he's on base, they bring his jacket out to him to keep him warm? A lot of times the punter goes to the sideline, puts on sweatpants or a wrap over his leg to keep it warm. He might need a massage from the trainer right now from all the work he's getting. Didn't have a receiver open downfield, and as it turned out, couldn't even find his outlet man because of the coverage. It was way too tight, unable to find anyone open.
Now the Giants will use the second of their 3 timeouts as they'll stop it with 14 seconds to go in this first half. On first down, Manning gets this out to Saquon Barkley. And taking it across midfield and just shy of the 40. Now a timeout. 7 seconds left in the first half. Now the Pro Bowl kicker, Aldrick Rosas. Last year, he hit one from 57. So this will be spotted on the midfield logo. It's a 58-yard attempt. And I tell you what, he got it from 58. That had lots of leg behind it. Remember, with Rosas, there was some speculation last year in the preseason that he might not hold on to his job with the Giants.
But he certainly answered the challenge, didn't he? 32 of 33 during the regular season, 97% that is, and was named to the NFC Pro Bowl team. And by the way, at 6'3", 234, he can bench press your kicker.
So we're at halftime here in the opener of the 2019 regular season as we send you on over to Orlando for Jonathan Coachman at our EA Sports Halftime Report. Take it away, Coach.
All right, Brandon, thanks very much. And welcome back to football, everybody. We've got a full slate of 16 games here to start the new season. So let's take our first trip around the NFL. We'll get started up at Lincoln Financial Field in Philly, where it was definitely a game with some intrigue, as you can see by the scoreline. Jordan Howard, 2 touchdown runs to lead the way. From there, we head over to the Pacific Northwest, check on the Seahawks at home in Seattle. And they've got the lead at halftime over the visiting Cincinnati Bengals. DK Metcalf, a touchdown catch in that first half. Finally, let's get over to Carson, see what's happening with the Chargers at home at Dignity Health Sports Park. And they have the lead in that one over the visiting Indianapolis Colts. The veteran, Phillip Rivers, with a couple of touchdown passes there. In the game you're watching, you've seen a strong first half out of Dak Prescott. His guys have the lead, as we'll hand it back over to our commentators, Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
All right, Coach, thank you, and we welcome everyone back for quarter number 3. We'll see if week 1 fatigue becomes any kind of a factor as we are back underway in the second half. That's fielded in the end zone, and no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. And our players spotlight now as we turn our attention to Eli Manning. And maybe he's starting to wave the white flag a little bit. He's playing pretty well, but the pressure, it's got to him.
has to find a way to step around it, step through it, or just handle it. Because as you mentioned, he's having a pretty good day overall. Just the hits keep coming and taking those sacks. That's not the way that they want to finish a ball game with their quarterback on the ground so much.
He'd like to stay upright. When he's been upright, he's been pretty good. And he's upended after a gain of 2 out to the 27. Leighton Vander Esch, third in the NFL in tackles as a rookie last year, there on the stop. They'll break the huddle, come up on 2nd and 8 at the 27-yard line. Here's Manning to throw. Over the middle, complete to Tate. 9 yards to pick up there, and it's a first down.
Slant route's effective no matter who's running the route and catching the ball. But when you have a receiver of that stature, you have to be a little bit more precise throwing it. You don't have the same catch radius with the bigger targets.
No gain on the play there, 2nd down.
But we just saw a great example of what we talked about with his coach prior to the game. He's definitely one of the better linebackers at reading a play and flowing to make the stop before it turns into something big.
A 2nd down pass play there, but it's incomplete. They were trying to get it there to Sterling Shepard, and that takes us from 2nd to 3rd down. By the way, I got to apologize because I just realized for about the last 4 or 5 plays I'm eking over in your territory up here in the booth. My bad. I'm going to get back over to my spot.
Yeah, we're not talking about our on-air commentary here. I mean, what is all this extra paper? I mean, this is unusual for you.
My bad.
Normally you run a really tight ship. What's going on here?
Just like that incomplete pass, I'm going to try to tighten things up here for this next play. But fortunately, he's able to recover his own fumble, or that could have been trouble.
I know there's no magnet in the ball, but sometimes for the punt returner, after such a scramble, it sort of feels that way, doesn't it? He has it, he loses it, somehow the ball finds its way back to him.
Atone for his sin, and you know he's taking a deep sigh of relief right now. And he is brought down at the 22 after a gain of 2, and it brings up 2nd down.
Well, he was looking for some running room, and there wasn't a whole lot of it there on that play. I think he was lucky to get a couple of yards out of it. So those defenders, they were rallying to the football pretty quickly.
And he'll be brought down here at the 28.
Third quarter, and you've got the lead. You're not ready to go into that 4-minute offense to close the game out, but a running game can really benefit your team right now.
Complete to Jason Witten. And he gets this one just shy of the 40, down at the 39. Dak finally gets tied in. Witten and the Cowboys have a first down.
Well, sometimes our pregame meetings do pay off, don't they? What do the guys in the locker room call him?
Well, they said it with a chuckle. They called him Old Reliable.
Yeah, that means he doesn't move quite as fast as he used to, but he still knows all the tricks, doesn't he? Even that little gentle push-off in order to get open, he finds a way to pick up a first down.
15 more there, and they're on a roll. It's another first down.
Now, this is an example of breaking down a defense because a lot of these runs, he's getting past the point of attack, and guess what he's doing? Forcing the secondary guys to have to make a lot of tackles.
This is Cobb with a catch right side. 10 more there and another first down.
Barney sold the go route really well. Thought he was going deep, then curled it back inside for a nice completion.
DBs love when they pump the brakes, don't they?
Yeah, that's really a whole lot of fun. It's almost like you said, listen, we're going to sell the go. Just go, and let's see who's faster.
And he takes this just a few yards shy of the red zone before going out. Another nice gain, 13 yards that time, and another first down.
People worry about throwing the out route because often it can get jumped, and that can turn into either an incompletion or an interception. But not on that one. Everything came together, and he catches it and goes over the sideline.
That good for 22 and a first down.
Looks to me like maybe there's a little attrition setting in with this drive, because when you see that type of a run, I get the feeling the defense getting a little bit tired.
And that's the last thing they need. And he's going to go down just outside of the 5, right around the 6-yard line. Lorenzo Carter coming in hard that time on the blitz, and he gets him down. It's a loss of 4.
Well, if you're going to throw the ball on 1st and goal from the 2, the worst thing that should result is an incompletion for you offensively. For Brandon, this is a different type of football.
And he is into the end zone for a Cowboy touchdown. A 5-yard touchdown. And the Cowboys will extend their lead. Still plenty of time. Oh, this is blocked. And the Giants have got it, but he doesn't get far. They're able to stop him And after all that, the extra point attempt unsuccessful.
I remember when they changed the rule, and there was a lot of consternation, especially coming from the kickers. Okay, how's this going to affect things, having to kick a longer one now, much more of a field goal attempt, and the defensive guys saw it as an opportunity to get more block.
That's exactly right. There's more effort now. Before, when it was snapped down near the goal line, you would basically see guys just stand there.
Yeah, not anymore. Now, those guys are going after it because now...
And he will go down. A Cowboys sack. DeMarcus Lawrence able to get in there for his second sack of the afternoon.
That's his second sack of the game, and the best defensive ends, they do their homework as much as offensive guys do. They know how to beat the offensive lineman across from them. What move?
And now the ball comes out. Manning lost it. So it goes as a fumble, but the key thing, not a fumble loss.
Yeah, that stat's big, isn't it? I mean, I remember watching teams play. The ball might be on the ground a number of times during the game, but if the other team doesn't get it, that's a huge difference in the ball game. And in this case, they were able to retain possession. Well, big man with ball met bigger man on the other side of the line. A really nice play for the defense.
And now Dallas gets set to take the field. So Prescott and the Cowboys now with a 1st and 10, just shy of midfield at the 49. Can't get away, and he's taken down. B.J. Goodson able to run him down for a loss of 12 that time.
The amount of sacks that they've absorbed in this game is absolutely extraordinary. Let's just face it. This offensive line, flat out, cannot handle this pass rush. It's been demonstrated time and time again.
And a 5-yard gain gets him to the 42.
I think we can safely say that those types of plays are the backbone of this offense. We know not every run's going to be a big hitter, but you know they'll take that type of result on each and every.
Nowhere to escape, and he goes down.
Well, this is what happens when you get behind the chains, as people like to say. When you have obvious passing situations, hard to vary it up and fool a defense.
And you hate those situations if you're an O-lineman, right?
Oh, without a doubt, because you just know they're coming, and you never know exactly how. They can be exotic in their blitzes, or their athletic ability just takes over.
Here's the Giant offense now as they get ready to take over here. And on the last go-around, they really couldn't get anything going.
They had to punt from deep inside their own territory, which means they're going to lose the field position battle as a general rule. What they're looking for now is a little more consistency, move the ball at least a few times on offense, get a couple of first downs, and hopefully flip the field.
Yeah, just something to build off of. That's what they're looking for here.
Tough first half for him, unable to put up the numbers he's used to producing. But with a guy like him, you and I both know it just takes a couple of explosive touches for him to make an impact on this game and on the stat sheet as well.
They'll wind up losing 7 yards on the play. And it's going to be 3rd down and a ways to go here. 3rd and 14. Back now in Arlington. It's the Giants with possession of the football but needing points as we start quarter number 4. Barkley, toss play left. Finding room at the 30 as they finally wrangle him in at the 48. He's able to rip off 32 on that one. It's a 1st down.
Well, you know what they say about the best laid plans, partner. I mean, this one was totally foiled. They played for the pass. The idea was if you want to run it, that's fine. We'll rally up and make the tackle. Except they didn't get it done.
Yeah, it's 3rd and long and a big run there. How about that? And he is tackled inside the 40, not quite to the 35. Back-to-back nice gains. That one for 14 yards and another 1st.
Something to watch here in week 1 of the season, tackling. Because you and I both know that in the preseason, a lot of these guys don't play a whole lot. Plus, the intensity and the speed really ratchets up on opening week.
There's a ball thrown right side and complete. Chewing up big yardage. Another nice gain there. This one goes for 20. A 1st down carry for Barkley. And he will take it on in for a Giant touchdown. An 18-yard touchdown run. And the Giants are able to cut into this lead. And there you go. Nothing really too complex. Block, keep to your assignments, let them run it in. They did it.
Fundamental football. Good blocking, Beats good tackling on that play. End result, touchdown.
They go for just one here as it's up and good. And that will shave one more off this lead. And this will not be returnable. It's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. Here's the Dallas offense now heading back out onto the field. Well, there are 2 scores on the plus side. Still time here in this fourth quarter, but maybe you start thinking about playing keep away?
Yeah, I think here's the situation. You're not thinking touchdowns anymore. You're just thinking first downs. To keep up with your theme there, playing keep away, first downs, they can't touch the ball.
Offensively with the lead, you want to run the ball, keep the clock going, but you also want to still kind of be in attack mode too, right? So how do you do that and not come back on your heels?
Yeah, think about all the practices we've watched where they have that tempo period to go over things just like this, where they describe the scenario, tell you what they're looking for, and make sure that they're still attacking, yet at the same time not going so fast as to leave too much time on the clock.
Over 100 yards receiving for him now in the opener, and it's a first down. He's played a great game. It continues right there, even with this lead, confident to throw the pass and have the reception made.
There's no doubt who the leader of their team is there? There's no doubt who they want to ride all the way to the finish, because strategy would tell you run the football, run the clock down. Instead, they're letting him throw it because they feel that confident in what he's getting done. Bottom line, they want to keep this clock rolling, so they'll take that one right there. They just want to keep falling forward, and they won't put the onus on the big fellas up front in order to bring this one home.
That catch good for 5. It's third down.
Another nice pickup through the air, and I think a lot of people might expect him to run the ball in this situation, Brandon, but with this lead, they're electing to throw the football. Swings, slants, quick outs, things that they consider safe.
A good-looking drive for the Cowboys so far. It's a first down. He's been the go-to guy. They needed a big play there on third down. Went his way. It worked out.
Doesn't matter whether they've scouted it or that they think he's going to get the ball. He has a knack for finding his way open and completing the connection.
He'll get a nice chunk there on the first down run, and it's 2nd and 4. Now, I'm guessing you'd say this is kind of the key here. Grind out some yardage, work on that clock, see if you can continue to tick it down.
Definitely, you want to bleed things out at this point, right? Continue to possess the football, gain some yardage, and put the onus on the defense. Do they have to use timeouts? What are they going to do to stop you? You're taking charge.
Prescott from the gun on third.
The goal of anyone running a curl route is to make sure you try and get defenders on your back and shield them away from the football. But sometimes even when you run a good route, the defense finds a way to knock it away.
A good-looking drive for the Cowboys so far. It's a first down.
When you have someone throwing it that well, that confidently, you don't have to call the game in fear at all, do you? You just go ahead and play.
Yep, confidence with a lead to throw it here. And he'll take it into the end zone for a Cowboy touchdown. 3 touchdown passes now for Dak Prescott. And the Cowboys will add on to their lead.
In order to lead in a game, you're going to get plenty of contributors, but that's his 2nd touchdown catch of this game. He's one of the key guys in this one.
And you better believe he'll be looking for the hat trick here as this one continues to go. Set now to kick this one away, and off it goes. This one fielded at the 5. And he'll take this across the 25, couple extra yards up to the 27-yard line. And New York set to take the field. And now last drive so successful with the ground game, ending in a touchdown. Do you stick with that formula?
That would be the #1 thing you would think of, but so many guys now would look at it and say, we've got them set up so well for play action, now's the time to take a shot.
Yeah.
But, you know, there was a big-time coach in the state of Ohio who once said, if you throw the ball, if you put it in the air, 3 things can happen, and 2 of them are bad. He would have kissed it on the ground.
From the 29, Manning, and that is incomplete. He couldn't hold on through the contact. Brings up 2nd down. Another incompletion. You know, it's a wonder he's still moving around back there the number of times he's been sacked.
Yeah, he's staying out there, isn't he? And you don't think about it much in a game like this, but he's showing incredible leadership. Still competing, still fighting, not taking himself out of a ball game that appears lost.
At this point, down big, you'd have to imagine this defense are just going to sit back, blanket the field as best they can.
Yeah, this is actually the easy part of the game for them because, just as you noted, they can sit back, keep everything in front of them. But they blanketed the field the entire game using a variety of coverages.
And the Cowboys' pressure gets there this time for the sack. Off the edge, it's Tyrone Crawford with a sack. Well, at this stage of the game in the second half, down 3 scores, I guess they felt like they needed to push.
And let's face it, with this deficit, if they give up another score here after they didn't get it, does it really matter?
Right.
It really doesn't. They had to go and try and make something happen if they had any chance of winning this game.
And when do they start thinking about burning these timeouts? They've got all 3 still defensively.
To me, you have to start right now. Here's the time, and that means you've got to stop them on defense, not give up the yardage, use your timeouts in order to get the ball back and try and score yourself. But now is the time to start using those timeouts.
And keep in mind, it'll also stop the clock at the 2-minute warning. To throw is Prescott. And he's got his favorite target yet again. It's complete. And he will have the first down inside the 10 to the 9-yard line. They're able to convert on 3rd down, and that sets up a 1st and goal. 2 minutes left to play in this football game here on EA Sports. So the Cowboys in possession of the football here as we get you reset. They've got it 1st and goal in a game that appears to have already been decided. Now Elliott. And he is into the end zone for a Cowboy touchdown. Ezekiel Elliott, already his 2nd touchdown here in this opening weekend. And the Cowboys will extend their lead. And he certainly played a pivotal role with those 2 TDs and why they're up on the scoreboard right now.
Well, someone's all about winning, aren't they? Because he's not worried about the number. Sure, it's great to have 2 touchdowns. But the bottom line is what he's doing is contributing to their lead. He wants to continue to do so.
This will be fielded at the 6. And he'll take this across the 25, a couple extra yards up to the 27-yard line. And New York set to take the field. They've lost this one. Their offense has struggled. Do they try to put together something here at the end just to take into next week?
Yeah, sometimes teams want to do that and coaches want to. I remember one time I was on a team and we were losing late in the game like this, and you knew it was lost. It was over, right? And the coach called a running play and pretty much said to everyone, I want to see something executed well before we get out of here. And that was the message to the team.
Just something to build on.
Just something to build on, get it done, and maybe we can look at that and say, we'll get better as we go forward.
2nd and 10 now from the 27. Throwing is Manning. It's hauled in by Shepard. And he gets this one just shy of the 40. They'll mark him down at the 39. 12 yards there and a 1st down. Manning going to throw. Offense for them has been at a premium. You wonder where plays like that have been all game long.
They're thinking the exact same thing themselves, but they're also looking forward now because now these plays are really for next week, trying to get some momentum going.
After the incomplete pass, here now is 2nd and 10. And he's hit and taken down. Eli sacked. Tyrone Crawford in there with pressure yet again. That is the 7th time that they have dropped him here this afternoon.
I remember throughout my career here.
He rifles one that's intercepted. Picked off Byron Jones.
Well, this defensive pressure has been constant all game long. The pass rush, the coverage, they've all been excellent, and now they'll tack on an interception here as this one continues to slip just further and further out of hand.
He can't bring him down.
The weight room does work.
It's a loss of a yard there, and now 2nd down.
Well, I know it goes against the instincts of the person catching the ball because all you're ever taught is catch the football, don't drop it.
But drop it there.
Yeah, in that situation, dropping it would have been better. End up losing yardage even though they completed the pass.
As good as a sack.
Yeah, how about that? Although they won't get the same credit for it, and it won't help them at contract time. I like watching the wide receiver screen because it's a real teamwork play. Because guess what? The guy catching the ball, he'll get all the credit. But how about the people up to block in front of him, either fellow receivers or offensive linemen? That makes that play a really nice timing play, and sometimes it can break big.
So this one will end in a victory for the Dallas Cowboys. And, partner, I must say, good to see you again. Been too long. And it's good to have football back, isn't it?
Didn't you see me in preseason? Weren't we together in preseason?
Yeah, but preseason, it's preseason. This is week 1.
Oh, you're trying to say real football.
Real football.
Not preseason football where we shake down the rosters and figure out who's going to play, and maybe the starters don't play as much. Now it's the frontline guys from the first whistle.
Yeah, I tuned you out in the preseason, and now I'm listening to you. So for Dallas, that'll be a happy locker room as they start this season 1-0. And they will hit the road next week to take on the Washington Redskins. Meanwhile, for the Giants, they obviously fall to 0-1 with the defeat. And they'll get a chance to redeem themselves at home next week. And for Charles Davis and our entire crew, I'm Brandon Gaudin. You've been watching the NFL on EA Sports.